Thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me well. Good morning, Ukraine. Good morning to all of you. Um, what can I say? You are on our minds every day, and the best we can do from so far away is simply, to deliver our seminars and simply check in. It's the minimum we can offer to the Ukrainian teachers, and I'm really, really happy. I wouldn't miss that, to tell you the truth, to be here among you. And thank you for joining, in the morning online to listen about positivity. Let me turn on my computer and share the screen and the sound. It was confirmed that I will have 40 minutes for this presentation, so I'm not going to take advantage of, of this benefit, and I'm going to keep the time piously because I have an issue with that. And today's topic is something that I've been talking for the last 6 years all over the world, and has to do with positivity and how to develop a more positive mindset. In the majority of the times, my angle is to use it through positive education. But I need to tell you since the beginning that obviously we are going to apply these principles in an educational context. But at the end of the day, I think the talk should have had the title "How to be a more positive person," because a more positive person is also a more positive teacher as well. The principles are the same. However, as our students are also people and individuals, these concepts in a way not exactly overlap, but they can be applied in both contexts. I think we need to have an open mind here. And I think we all need to feel a little bit more positive, a little bit more uplifting, and realize certain things about positivity as well. So, positivity is a word that has been stretched through different directions. And in many situations, I think it has already been misunderstood. To tell you the truth, to offer a definition, it would be very narrow-minded, and I don't think that it would totally epitomize the full spectrum and the full meaning of this idea. So let's see how we could possibly define positivity from different perspectives and from different sectors, I would say. Positivity is, first of all, to accept what comes. There are many things that you cannot control. Specifically, you have experienced that more than ever. And I know that some of these things might be really tragic, some of these things might be really difficult, but we need to take since the beginning and realize that there are certain things in our lives that are beyond our reach. And this is something that no matter what we do or what we say, we cannot simply control it. I liked what the previous speaker said, Anna, about controlling a little bit your flow and your negative flow, because sometimes you may feel tired, and she clearly said that you cannot avoid that, but you can possibly mitigate it through breathing. It's more or less the same idea here. If you expect to feel positive all the time, this is not happening. Many times we're gonna say during the presentation, some bad things may happen. We need to be able to get prepared for them. Adversity is an inevitable part for everyone, no matter small or big or tragic or less tragic, or adversity might be that you miss the bus for your work. Okay, this can create some kind of adversity. To some people might be very, very serious, or adversity might be that you have a very serious loss as well. But adversity is something common for every people, and we need to train ourselves to face it. Another thing about positivity and what usually most positive people do is to stop thinking about themselves all the time and be open about other people's views. I'm not saying accepting them. I'm not saying embracing them. I'm saying trying to be open about what the other person has said. Because once you have this receptiveness, once you are open to what other people are saying, you start becoming more milder in a way into your criticism. You start opening your horizon. You start taking in other perspectives. And this process by itself is super positive. So try to allow some other people's views, and nobody will actually ask you to change yours. It's more we see it in a competitive way, and we tend to exclude this process from our everyday activities. But it's important to listen to what other people have to say. This is one of my favorites and one of my mottos in life that I must tell you that every time I have practiced it, I've never I was always, winning things out of this situation. Always do your best with what you have at this specific moment. Because again, it's about number one, it's about things that you cannot control. It's about that you never know what's gonna come. So just focus on what you have. Just focus on today. This is something we're gonna say later on as well. And just try to do your best. This is the absolute positive mindset. And number five, which has also been confirmed by science, actually, by the way, I need to tell you that whatever you're going to see on this screen is backed up by certain bibliography, and it's 100% scientific. It's not simply my opinion, it's what science says. And if you ask any positive psychologist, he will tell you that positivity is not going around with a smile or cracking jokes all the time or simply have this positive mindset. Positivity can be simply leading your life, having your life, and be ready for anything that may occur. Bad, good, positive, negative. This is the positive mindset. Gathering up the positive resources and the fuel in order to be resilient when the time comes and if comes. And this will lead me to the other actually rhetorical question that, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to try to answer it, but I'm sure it's bothering many people. What is happiness? And at the same time, it has also been abused in a way by people that I call the happyologists. People that they actually always have this magic recipe to tell you that if you're gonna do this or if you're gonna do that, you are automatically going to feel happier. Well, I can tell you what happiness is not. Happiness is not something like a recipe. Happiness is a process. And this is something that is totally connected to positivity. You need to walk the path. You need to walk the talk. You need to be able to enter yourself into this process of feeling more positive, and gradually you gain and you move on as life goes on. Because, as I said, it's always unpredictable. Now, I'm going to use, in order to talk about happiness and positivity at the same time, because this is really something that it's important for the people to understand before they start practicing it. I'm going to use a metaphor by one of my favorite books by Dr. Ben Sahar. It's called Happier. I highly recommend it because it's science, but put it down with simple words. And he uses this amazing metaphor of happiness being like a burger. And because I'm very fond of burgers, possibly you can actually realize this from my feet. And this is stuck on my mind. And he says, actually, your attitude to life and to happiness, it can be like a junk food burger, which leads to what we call hedonism. Hedonism is when you pick up things in life just for the pleasure of the moment. Let's say that you are very hungry, you are starving, you are going into McDonald's or whatever other brand, and you take this juicy, greasy, full of calories burger that you enjoy for the moment, and you totally ignore the future sequences. The fact that you actually may put on your body more than 1,000 calories by eating this thing, it doesn't count at that moment. It counts only the saturation of feeling the pleasure, the comfort, the indulgence at the moment, and nothing else. Sometimes we see life like this, and we do things just out of pure hedonism without realizing, the consequences. There is also even a worse case, the greasy, fatty, nihilistic burger. Let's assume that you are driving on a highway, you are starving again, it's midnight, there is nothing for you to eat, there is no open restaurant, you are in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly you see a gas station. And the only option that you have is to eat this burger. What can you possibly do? You are starving. It's neither tasty, it's not healthy, it's bad now, and it's bad later. Because when you are devouring this burger, you do realize and that what you are doing is bad, but you have no other option. Sometimes this is also our attitude in life. You no longer enjoy the present. you have lost faith in the future, you keep on performing, you are ticking up the boxes, you're doing your tasks, but sometimes life feels pointless. And then it's when things may start becoming better with a vegetarian burger, which is healthy later, but not tasty now. You have to eat all these lettuces, all these tomatoes, all these pickles, a little bit of specific burger there. But you sacrifice today for tomorrow. You are making an investment. And, this has to do with constant hard work, maybe delayed gratification, but you're also chasing a future success as well. And the last and the ideal is the ideal burger, of course, because it can be both tasty and healthy, and it's good now and it's good for later. And this is where happiness leads us. When you are happy with what you do now, there is an investment for the future, and you're getting into this mood of the process. It feels good also and contribute to your growth and purpose as well. The purpose when we enter the process of positivity is to focus more a little bit on the last two, the vegetarian and the ideal, and try to avoid moments as much as possible that get us into, the first two states. Because these states, unfortunately, it's only a momentary, positivism that you can get or satisfaction. Then usually, things become a little bit complicated. I also like in this kind of talks to pinpoint what certain things are not, because this helps people understand the good, the bad, and somehow, once you understand this, then it's easier either to decide to enter or not. And I highly recommend the book that you can see on the screen. I've been quoting practically in almost every single talk of mine, because I think this is a real manual for parenting, for teaching, for mentoring, for coaching, for any person out there. In a way, puts together your thoughts and helps you, shows the way, the growth mindset. And there were certain points and certain phrases that are stuck on my mind that I see in attitudes to people around me. And, I can tell that if you experience some of these things and you never enter the process, then I cannot see how we can be more positive people. Sometimes these are statements that actually are drowning us, are dragging us down into states that it's a little bit difficult to escape unless we realize. First of all, and this is very common in education, that intelligence and talent are carved in stone. If a teacher is entering the classroom with this on its mind, that it's either the gifted, the talented, the good, the best, the excellent, and the rest of the class simply they are not, then we cannot aspire that we are going to have a positive mindset as a teacher. No, we automatically are making a segregation, and we believe that some of people have it, some else no. This idea of possibility and of growth should always be there. The second trap that we fall as individuals, as teachers, as students, is the focus on proving to somebody that we are A or B or C, and we forget the process of improving ourselves. There is nothing to be proved to anyone. This is all onto our minds. And I can tell you, because I come from a very competitive part and business, every time I fall into that trap, what the main remedy was just focus on what you do what you do best, and definitely everything will improve. And it's not about me improving, it's about the situation improving. So sometimes we feel that we need to prove something, but we don't. It's just an illusion that we experience. People who believe that by avoiding challenges and risk and stay on a safety zone, on a comfort zone, this brings stagnation. This cannot bring positivity. Sometimes it's recycling our own thoughts. We need to be able to take the challenge and the risk, even if we lose sometimes. It's totally fine. We will continue. Adversity, with the first adversity that comes, that's why I'm keep on repeating this phrase. Positivity is about facing adversity. We're going to watch a video later on about that. It's just you should not give up easily in the face of obstacles. That's number one priority of a positive mindset. See effort as a sign of deficiency. No, there are people there who struggle, specifically, maybe you or all of you, every single day I saw Natalia is in the audience. She's telling me amazing stories from Ukraine, from teachers that they teach under, extreme conditions. That's exactly the spirit. You keep on doing, you keep on trying, you keep on moving forward. And that's, one of the basic principles of positive mindset. When I'm not willing to receive any criticism or feedback, and I always take it personally, then it's impossible for me to grow, to be more positive. I always will start recycling my own negative thoughts. And of course, I have no issue with anybody because I'm looking on what you saw in the second line. I'm focused on my improvement. Other people can improve too, and they can achieve success. Many, many millions, billions of people are better than me, and I need to accept this. So never feel threatened by other success. And this is a very common practice among students as well. And of course, the most important thing, if you fail, it's okay. If you fail, it's okay. This cannot become your identity. This cannot become something, curved in stone, as you see in the first phrase. And you cannot carry it forever. You just move on. You just move on. Everybody fails. All right. Now, for the next idea, because this has to do with this title that I have actually twisted a little bit from the famous series Breaking Bad, and I gave it Breaking Good. Some of you may be wondering, what exactly do I mean by breaking good? And the best way to show you this to you is this clip from Harry Potter 1. I'm sure you're familiar with. Let's watch it, and then I'm going to make some comments.
Fine day, Sunday. In my opinion, best day of the week. Why is that, Dudley?
Because there's no post on Sundays.
Right you are, Harry. No post on Sunday. Ha! No blasted letters today. No, sir. Not one single bloody letter. Not one. No, sir. Not one blasted miserable...
I'm sure you remember the scene when the uncle of Harry Potter was hiding the letters from Hogwarts because he didn't want Harry to be part of this wizardry school. And eventually, when the first letter was hidden and the second was destroyed and the third, that Sunday, the whole house was swarmed and filled with letters. So there was something good there that simply could not be stopped. And I'm trying to coin, I'm writing a paper about the Hogwarts letter effect, because this is exactly what breaking good is all about. Be so good that nothing bad gets through. And I'm sure that if we have this on our minds, if we are constantly try to improve ourselves, this is something that cannot be stopped. Like these letters from Hogwarts, the whole place, the whole space will fill up with this good energy. And of course, that's a term that has already been mentioned in literature. It's about turning powerfully towards good or doing good in a striking, disrupting, or compelling way. And there is no negative connotation here. It only has to do with how much attraction you can get, how much attention you can attract by doing something good. And there is an amazing paper by Mrs. Simeonidou, a very high top academic in Greece, that talks about the positive deviance in education. And she talks about teachers or systems that they simply defy the system, defy the odds, and protect the learners from the worst effects of a struggling system by doing something good. Okay, that's exactly the passionate teacher, the positive teacher, the teacher who has a more powerful mindset. And I'm sure that you have many stories to share from your own daily life regarding that. So I would say no to distractions, stop complaining, because students need to see an encouraging face. And of course, specifically at this moment, always do your best with what you have. These can be even more specific guidelines for a more positive mindset. And I'm getting into the actual, I have isolated 10 rules that I'm going to go through very quickly because I need to be respectful regarding the time and give it not exactly as a recipe, but as a mind map of how we can have a more positive mindset. The first one, and I always start with this. Last week I was in Korea, in TESOL, Korea, and I had the chance and the honor to meet Thomas Farrell. Thomas Farrell is one of us, is an academic, but he talks a lot about what you can see right now on the screen. He actually has devoted his whole academic career. I don't know this legend, how many books he has written, trying to get the teachers to reflect and self-reflect and spend some time during the day with themselves to realize whether they want to do something or they don't want to do something. But this reflection is not like obsessive thoughts. It's actually a conscious practice that can lead you to more positive results. There are so many frameworks out there. I usually share this by Mr. Gibbs. He's one of the first that came out, and it's general, not only about teachers, but it's very simple. Something is happening to you. You may be listening to a podcast. You may have been experiencing an incident. Analyze your feelings, make your own evaluation, do your own analysis. What else can you make of the situation? Arrive to a conclusion and have an action plan. No matter what you decide to do through this circle is simply super acceptable. What is important is the journey, is that you enter this process, because the majority of the people that I come around, they don't do this. They just don't spend this time with themselves. So they're wandering around their lives, always these complainings, always this negativity, and they don't sit down and think just for a moment. So I think self-reflection is pivotal, not only for developing a more positive mindset, but for everything in life. My second, and I always use this metaphor or connection with this that we see on the plane, in psychology is called self-intervention, which means that once, let's say that you decide that positivity is for you, you need to apply this onto yourself. That's another case of people that I come across, people who always want to help, but when you're talking to them, you realize that they also have a more serious problem than the people that they try to help. And, it's exactly like you see it in the mask. When the adult won't put the mask to secure his well-being, his life, he won't be able or she won't be able to help anybody next to them. So self-intervention is really, really important. Apply positivity first onto yourself. See if this is for you or not, because if it might not at this moment, it might be later, but it's an important function to happen on a personal base. And the third of all, it's take action. And when I say take action, I mean practice the sport. You read into my bio that I'm a positive educator. How can a positive educator enter a classroom frowned, pissed off, abusing students, bullying, not being kind, not being receptive? I would be actually very pretentious to do like that. So positivity is not a spectator stock. It's something that needs to be practiced in your everyday lives, in your classroom. You need to become the real embodiment of positivity as a teacher, somebody who is inviting with actions the students to trust them and feel more positive. And of course, practice what we preach, because, here I could deliver hundreds of presentations talking about this very same topic, but it's important to practice it out there. So take action is really, really important. Focus on today. No matter if you decide to follow and attend a positive psychology course tomorrow, and there are some good ones out there, that you can start from. This is one of the first principles that you learn from many experts, from many positive psychologists. We need to train ourselves to focus on today. The past is gone. You cannot change it. I wish we could predict the future. Present is here for us. We need to train ourselves not to be distracted by the past and not to worry about tomorrow. Because to tell you the truth, if you enter into in any of these processes, it won't end positively. Okay, you keep on recycling the same negativity feelings and you cannot actually escape from this vicious circle of your own thoughts in the majority of the times. We need to train ourselves to focus only on today. And for the next idea, which we have mentioned again, but this time, I found this clip by Sylvester Stallone from one of the last Rocky films, and I'm sure you will get the message immediately of what this is all about.
Great, just watching every day was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Positivity lessons from an expert. He's talking to his son, and previously into this scene, the son started complaining, you are this, you are that, you are not a good father. It makes a direct attack to the father. And the father practically says, let me tell you something that you already know. I think that's the most pivotal phrase of the scene. I'm not going to tell you rocket science or something that you don't know. That's how life is. That's how adversity is. But it's not about how hard you're going to get hit. It's about how you can move forward. And that's somebody needs, I think Olena needs to actually silence the microphone. That's exactly what this. Maybe she cannot hear us.
Great, just watch.
So, face expert prepare for adversity is something we said. I always bring up this book and this incident because this is again when science talks about Michael Phelps, Beijing 2008. In that particular race, he won the golden medal, he broke the world record, but his goggles filled up with water. So he ended up this race completely blind. And it's the idea of the mental contrasting. Can somebody tell to Olena, send her a message? I don't know, because let me see if I can actually. Maybe the moderator can mute her. Okay, so it's about, that comes from the idea of mental contrasting by Gabriel, thank you, by Gabriel Otsigen, Rethinking Positive Thinking. So it's good when you have a wish and a dream that you want to become this, that you want to become that you want to win a medal, but at the same time, you need to be able to visualize the obstacle. What could possibly go wrong? Have a plan, and then yes, you can pursue your dream. You can enter the process. You see, mental contrasting is the scientific way of training yourself into conscious, positive thinking. It's not like a button, it's a process again, as we have said many times before. Professor Martin Seligman was the one who started the positivity movement that became a science. And he has made, thousands of publications. One of the books that I highly recommend is The Hope Circuit, in which he clearly states and brings us back to the starting point that no matter if we want or not, we have one past that cannot change, but multiple futures. And this is about the power of choice. The way that we think really matters. And of course, this also is very much aligned to what Viktor Frankl said. top psychologist, top philosopher of our times, Holocaust survivor. This person has been in a concentration camp and he has faced terror with his own eyes. And it's all about choosing one attitude in any given set of circumstances. Even when things get really nasty, you have this power of choice. And I know what some of you may be thinking, and I have compelling evidence, for you as well. Some of you may be thinking, George, maybe my conscious choice is to be negative. And I will say, I'm 100% with you. But before that, how about this model by Sonia Lyubomirsky, which is infallible, is 100% accurate. And because it's being backed up by a lot of science, this is something that cannot be ignored. Mrs. Lyubomirsky practically says that 50% of whether you feel positive or negative, yes, it might be according to your genetics, which is a very high percentage. 10% might be according to your circumstances. In your case, you're experiencing a very difficult war, and this definitely on a daily basis may influence the way that you see things. But 40% of whether I want to feel positive or negative is intentional activity, is what we do, is how we think. And this is very much linked to the previous bibliography. I told you it's about positivity being a conscious choice. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lead you to enter the process. It's a conscious choice for you to enter this specific mode. Now, a little bit of quiz just to wake you up, because it's morning, you may not be having your coffee. So my quiz is the following one. What do you call this pair of pajamas in colloquial British English? There is a specific expression which a British friend told me once, and it's always stuck on my mind. How do they call this specific style of pajamas in Britain? Any ideas? No, Natalia. But good effort, but no. Anyway, it's difficult, and the truth is that it does exist somewhere on the internet, but these pajamas in Britain are called passion killers, which means that if you see your companion, your husband, your boyfriend dressed like that, the least that you're gonna be inspired about is having a passionate night with him. These are the pajamas that actually literally kill any kind of sexual instinct. And the reason that I'm telling you is that I'm going to keep the passion killers, because here you can see on the screen some of the typical passion killers for teachers. Learners who arrive unprepared, top-down leadership, students who disrupt learning, colleagues stepped in negativity, families disengaged from their children's education, overcrowded classrooms, staff shortages, poorly maintained or outdated facilities, high-stakes testing systems, and rigid timetables and outdated curricula. I'm already tired listening to all this complaining, and it's a real noise. But please, my friends, these things happen in every single school. And you may be facing more difficult situations than this. These come from societies that they are not at war. This comes from teachers who are constantly going to school and keep on complaining about any of this. Nobody can change this. It's part of the system. It's happening all over. So I would say, and I'm going to quote from Mel Robbins, who is not an academic, but right now, this amazing book that she had, The Let Them, and I always post about her, she said it very clearly in one of her podcasts: motivation is garbage, which means that if you sit there complaining that the system is this, the system is that, everybody's late, the bullied students, the headmaster, or whatever, no one is coming. No one is coming to save you from this situation. You need to take control of the situation. Nothing is going to happen. So, number 7, I would say, stop complaining and transferring the blame. just to the system, just to all these things that are happening. Take control of your own positivity vehicle. I would actually supplement there, because you are the only person who can actually decide, as we have seen so far, consciously enter this process. The next idea, it's something that I've been experiencing myself, to tell you the truth. I used to, and I see many people, beloved people around me, also suffering from it. It has been coined by Brian Robinson. It's the idea of the time gluttony, the habit of constantly devouring time, the people around us that they always say, oh, I don't have time, I wish I had more days, I wish I have more time. And while still feeling you never have enough, instead of mindfully using and savoring the time you already have. So this is another distraction and another trap. And this has also been pointed by Dr. Tony Schwartz. And he simply said, guys, we all have 24 hours in a day, 160 hours in a week, 8,000, 7,000, 36 hours in a year. No matter if you're Ukrainian, Greek, Italian, Muslim, Christian, alien, or where you live, this is what we all get. So it's not about equality. This is equal for all people. It's not about the time. It's about the energy that you have. When you are complaining about the time, you are already burned out. You are already exhausted. By the way, at Express Publishing next week, Daniel Seri, who is a great academic, will talk about burnout. We have a free webinar. You can actually join for free. You can visit the Express Publishing page. And, we need to realize that we are not created to work like computers. The computers go in a linear way. Pop, 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 pop. They can go on forever. If we switch off the computer now and we come back after a while, it keeps on going. It's not like that. We have systems, and the systems, they are they define the energy into our body. The physical one, when you don't listen to your body, when you start having, the back pain, the leg pain, the whatever pain, this means that you need to stop and take it easier. Spiritual, it has to do a lot with what we say here. How much meaning do you actually have in your own life, professional life? What do you do? Does it have any meaning? Is there any connection there for you? Is there any meaningful situation that you can connect to it? Because if you don't, this causes even more stress and more exhaustion. The emotional, how good you feel about what you do, if it's what you really like. And of course, the mental, it has to do with your focus, with all the distractions that we call, and we believe that it's not us, it's someone else that actually has the blame. And I'm going to offer you not exactly new data. I must confirm that I have listened to myself, Mr. Seligman, saying this in a conference in Austria in 2024. Maybe you know the PERMA model. If you're looking for a positivity, let's say, framework that has also been applied to education, and you can start from somewhere, PERMA can be an option. It's a little bit broad. I usually use the character strengths to practice. But what is important is that Mr. Seligman himself said that if you want to practice positive emotional engagement, relationships, meaning, and achievement, there might be another component. And this component is the word vitality, which brings us back to the issue of energy, and positivity needs energy fuel. You cannot feel positive if you are exhausted. You cannot feel positive if you feel tired. You need to cater for your own energy. Don't expect magic pills. No one is coming. You need to cater for that as well. And Barbara Fredrickson, the mother of positive psychology, she said something that we usually mention in the 3 more minutes and I'm done. About another talk about love, and she talks about positivity. Positive moments are emotions. Emotions do not last forever. That's why you cannot feel positive all the time. You're going to have your downtime. I hope that your takeaway from this talk is that positivity is about adversity and facing negativity. These two things coexist. So the positive moments last for seconds, maybe minutes, but we need to learn to cultivate them more. We just need to prioritize them. It's up to us to actually think, create, and prioritize our own feel-good activities. If, for example, you feel great by taking a walk, who is going to give this to you? Only you, to yourself. If you feel nice, if you actually greet or salute your students with a smile every time they enter the classroom, no one else will do this, only you. So you need to reflect, repeat, or change your positivity daily activities. And I have another quiz, which is more rhetorical. I'm going to give you some time to read these statements, and I'm going to ask you to think if you have ever felt similarly to these situations that you can see right now on the screen. The thing is that if you have experienced, even for a simple moment, I have experienced many of them, by the way, just to relax you. There's no right or wrong here. The thing is that all these are signs that we may be entering into an area of toxic positivity. And that's something that I always need to pinpoint, because toxic positivity is this unrealistic pressure and something that many positivity people do not realize. And they always talk about being positive and being happy, but suppressing or minimizing negative emotions. Positive psychology loves negative emotions. Positive psychology embraces adversity and negative emotions, because that's exactly the remedy to face them. And very easily, when to recognize a toxic positive person is when what you see and what he says or she says, it's not according to the current circumstances. You can feel that there is something wrong there. Or, you can see that this is used as a protective armor, that you can feel this spree of positivity and oozing of positivity, but you cannot approach this person and feel positive. Then it's definitely when something is wrong. And toxic positivity, the good news is that, as exactly the Sufi proverb says, there wouldn't be such a thing as counterfeit gold if there were no real gold somewhere. So toxic positivity is the evil twin of positivity. It wouldn't have existed if there wasn't the positive thing. And it's always a matter of choice, and also a trap that you only you can avoid. Okay, all you need to do is simply to be aware. And these are talking about priorities and some things that you can do, some practices as a giveaway, as a takeaway from this seminar. 13 different activities or situations that can work in the classroom, and it can tangibly help you become more positive, even starting from tomorrow. I mean, if you go through these 13 activities, mindsets, attitudes in the classroom, you may be seeing transformation in your own lesson. But the most important is that you are entering the process of positivity, both as an individual and as a teacher. And of course, there is no magic pill or a button. As happiness, positivity is also a process. So I hope you took something out of this seminar. You can use this framework of these 10 reminders, let's call it. I wouldn't like to call it a framework, that maybe can help you into a more positive mindset. And I don't know if we have time for questions, but I'm going to give you my email. That if you have any question about this presentation, you can always email me, or you can find me on social media, or even through the Express Publishing portal that is sponsoring this talk for TESOL-Ukraine. And thank you very much. I hope I'm on time. Just 2 minutes over.